name's Al, and today I'm going to show you how to fit a headset at home, make your own tools and do it all for next to nothing. Seeing as we're making bike tools here, you're not going to need many to start with. So we've got some general hand tools, looking like something off a DIY program rather than something to do with bikes. You need a drill, a wood saw, hacksaw, various spanners, rag, a hammer, ruler. We've also got a few odds and ends, such as a bit of cutlery, a knife. You'll see what we use that for later on. And we've also bought some big washers, some nuts, some threaded rod, some waste pipe, plastic plumber's pipe, 40mm, and some 25mm diameter curtain pole. Removing a crown race can be a right pig of a job, even with the right tools. There are tools available specifically for this job. Some of them cost up to 135 quid. To be honest, they don't always do the best job. There are some old school methods out there that you can rely on, and they'll cost you next to nothing. I'll show you the first one. Well, this is the good old hammer and screwdriver method. It's a bit of a pain. And often you can damage the fork or the crown race. In this instance, it's actually moved it down straight away. But often they're very hard to move. If you find you don't have room to get a screwdriver in there, a technique that you can use, raid the cutlery drawer, get yourself a knife. Causes a minimum of damage really, certainly less than you get with a screwdriver and a hammer. Cheaper, thinner cutlery is generally best because it slips down in between the gap better. You're basically hammering it in between the crown race and the crown. And that will give you a little bit more room to get the screwdriver in there and knock it off. First up, we're going to make a crown race setter. These are about 70 quid from Park. We're going to make one out of a bit of plumber's waste pipe, some 40mm pipe, get from B&Q for a few quid. Just need to chop off a section, like so. Grab your fork, grab your crown race. Got a tool to fit your crown race. Happy days. Next up, we're going to make a rocket tool. This is for removing the cups from your frame, headset cups. These cost about 40 quid. I made this out of a curtain pole. This is 25mm in diameter. Chopped it up, got 3 lengths out of it, so you can make 3. I think it cost about 6 quid from B&Q. If you cut 4 slits along the length of it, nice and even, not like that, and then flare them out, then that will fit inside the head tube of your frame, and you can hammer out the cups. The idea is it will spread the pressure on the cup rather than if you were to use, say, a screwdriver, which would concentrate the pressure in one area and potentially make a bit of a mess of your frame and your headset cup. In order to fit the cups, we've got a couple of techniques, both of which will cost you next to nothing. The most important part of this is that you take your time and you make sure that the cups go in dead straight. If they don't, you could trash your frame. First technique requires a bit of threaded rod, a couple of nuts and a couple of washers. Pick these up from B&Q for next to nothing. I think all the parts for this probably about £4, something like that. It came with a ton of washers. I couldn't buy one on its own, and the bar was long enough to make at least one more. So it's a case of winding it up, get a bit of tension. It's a pretty crude tool, but as I say, as long as you press the cups in straight, you'll be absolutely fine. Just need a spanner on either end. Press the cups into the frame. If you're a complete tight arse, or you need to fit a headset in a mega rush, there is another option. You get yourself a rear quick release. Won't work with all frames, depends on the length of the head tube. Ditch the springs. Some big old washers. Make sure it's all lined up, and you can actually use the action of the quick release to press the cups into place. You will need more washers as they go into the frame, so obviously it'll get shorter and you might run out of thread on the quick release, but it does work. If your fork hasn't got one already, you'll need to fit a staff angled nut so you can preload the headset bearings. If you don't have the tool to fit it, you can bodge it in place. Just get the bolt, make sure it's a steel one, not a fancy aluminium one. Screw it into the staff angled nut, and then with a rag on the floor, fit your hammer, you can tap it home. Okay, so they're not the prettiest of tools, but they would have cost you about 250 quid if you'd have brought the real deal. They will do the job, and they're cheap to replace should you break them. So hopefully you'll have a crack at it. As long as you take your time, make sure those headset cups go straight, you shouldn't have any issues. Thanks for listening, see you next time.